Hey, what's up, folks? This is Jonathan Coates coming out of Portland, Oregon. And in today's episode of Scientific Advertising, Deconstructing Profitable Campaigns from the Past and Today, we're coming straight from 1922 here, from Applied Business Correspondence from Herbert Watson. Came out in 1922. It's out in the Cornell University, I believe, New York College of Agricultural Library. You'll find it. It's a bit of an archive, if you will. But this right here is a letter that was sent out to a prospect from a gentleman, and he had a lot of different. I found it really interesting, and I just wanted to share it with you. It's not really that long, but it's really, really good. And so it flows conversationally. A few things. It uses third-party references in here. As you'll notice, if you do as Arnold Sater did, you see that? That's immediately how it starts off. Okay, so let's get into it. Have the headline right here, obviously credibility. That's first 4 seconds you want to, become as an expert, trust, and sharp as a tack. And that's one of the things. Your company needs to be, clear. So the letterhead is important. And then who you're addressing. Who you are, and then where you're from, obviously, and then who you're addressing. Now, notice that there's spacings. We call this exhausting your copy, airing it out, if you will. More white right here makes it easier to read. You'll notice that. It's only a few sentences. Now, this one I would actually break up too, but honestly, this worked, so I wouldn't break it up. I would test it. That's what I would do. But it's easy to read. And it's a little personal too. What would make this probably even, I wouldn't even say probably, what would make this more effective if it was written by hand. But let's get into it. So, Mr. Henry Williams, Monticello, Iowa. So this is who these guys are, and they're writing a prospect. If you do as Arnold Sater did, he lives 5 miles northeast of Monticello on the Bowen Road, you will have very little trouble with your clover, and you can start a field of alfalfa that will grow. Now, real quick, like I said, the third-party reference here, he immediately jumps into the success of somebody else who this person that he's writing to can relate to. Monticello on the Bowen Road, that specific right there adds credibility. You will have very little trouble with your clover, and you can start a field of alfalfa that will grow. Now, the person he's writing to is having trouble with your clover. So the idea of someone already having success is enough to keep this guy reading. You got that? So the whole purpose is to get people to read the next sentence. Everything is designed to get people to read the next sentence. For 3 years, Mr. Sater had been trying to get a catch of alfalfa and clover. So here's a little backstory, painting a picture. His clover came up better than his alfalfa, but both were thin and opposed. Either they didn't last through the winter, or the scorching sun of July and August burned them out. Now, this is probably something I can almost guarantee you without even doing the market research on this. He spent probably months researching the frustrations that this guy was going through. And it was more than likely so vivid in the reader's mind. It's like, oh my God, it's almost as if this person knows me. Just about a year ago, we received our first bottles of Firmigan, which is nothing but a trade, came given to nitrogen gathering bacteria, which all clovers and alfalfa demand, if they are to succeed. So a little education here, It implies study, it implies research, it implies credibility. Mr. Sater, the third-party reference, used Firmigerm, which is he's referring to again is what causes alfalfa to succeed. He used it with his alfalfa and clover seed last season. The results were better than we dreamed of. So it exceeded their expectations. He got 3 outings from his alfalfa. That probably blows this reader's mind right here. His clover was good, and he received from 12 to 14 pounds more of cream a week from the same cattle this winter than he did last. Think of it, 14 pounds more of cream a week from the same cattle. Now, this is really good because it visualizes the benefit and what is going to be beneficial for the reader. Because he's painting this picture for the reader using a reference of a third-party farmer from down the way who this reader can relate to, and he's describing the story in just these 2 paragraphs of the struggle that they had. First, what the research entailed, what they ended up doing about it, and how they ended up using it, and it blew their minds. And with the same amount of work, they got 14 pounds more. Now that is absolutely extraordinary. Okay, how Mr. Sater succeeded within three too hard to start crops, when I pretty well explained in the pamphlet enclosed. Now right here he's implying that, hey, there's something attached. He's implying, hey, take action. He's not saying it directly, he's just saying it indirectly. That's the beginning of that right there. So take note. Be sure to read it. Okay, he's telling him to do something. On the first page you will find, now right here he's future pacing right here. Future pacing is he's already have the visual created in the reader's mind. Now he's showing him what he's going to be going through as he follow along after he takes action for what he's telling him to do right here. Be sure to read it, because on the first page you will find why Mr. Sater, the third party reference, used Firmagrin. So this is what they're selling right here. What Firmagrin is, how it is implied, what it will do, and all about it. I can talk about that too. If your time is worth anything, it will pay you to study this pamphlet. And at this point, saying something like this has much more impact because of all the rapport, trust, and credibility and the information that was provided right here. Figure what a good catch of clover means to you. Now he's asking him a question. What does it mean to you? Because obviously the reader is significant to him. It means a hay crop of high feed value that will build up muscle and beef and increase the yield of milk. Clover, like alfalfa, is a great soil improver. It renovates the soil and gathers moisture from the deep subsoil below it. I can't figure that freaking word. The same thing you add when you apply manure, okay, whatever. It draws nitrogen from the air and deposits it in the soil. This is beautiful persuasion right here, by the way. I can go on for like hours just talking about this right here. It will build up where our land, besides giving you a valuable hay crop. Read what the U.S. Department of Agriculture has to say about Firmagrin and soil transfer on page 4 and 5 of the pamphlet. Now, this last sentence right here, read what the U.S. Department of Agriculture had to say about Firmagrin and the soil transfer on pages 4 and 5 of the pamphlet. This also implies it's assumptive closing. He's saying, hey, you're going to be reading it. He's saying he's building up credibility right here. This is a credibility booster. This is really huge. This is so big right here, guys, because it just says it does so much. Like, just keep in mind that this is all designed to get people to do the next thing. Every last one of these sentences is designed for them to read the next sentence. And there's just so much going on right here. When Mr. Sater bought his first bottle of Firmagrin, he was in exactly the same position that you are. He's saying that, hey, this guy that had the success, that went from rags to riches, he was in the same position that you are. This is incredible, folks. He didn't know whether it would do any good or not. So this is what's keeping his prospect up at night. His desires is, and it's like, basically, you want to get into the conversation that's already being had in the prospect's mind. And I think that's a quote from Joseph Sugarman, Dan Kennedy, or one of those folks, David Ogilvy, something. To introduce, no, let's get right here. Okay. He was in exactly the same position you are. He didn't know whether, but he knew that something was needed. He realized that it was the soil that was wrong more than the weather, and that Firmagrin promised to correct that trouble. Okay, so they figured it out. He finally painted the illustration of what is the trouble and the root cause of why this prospect is having so much trouble with alfalfa, and what the third party reference Mr. Sater did to succeed. Today he is glad he tried it. He's going to use more this spring, and you will feel exactly the same way after you have given it a trial. Man, this is epic. This is epic. My mouth is salivating, guys. This is epic. So you will feel exactly the same way after you have given it a trial. It's more future pacing. It's a more assumptive closing. It's like, hey, after you go through this trial, you're going to get the same exact results that he did, who was in the same exact position that you are in right now, and who's going the same exact struggles and was doubtful if this thing would even work in the first place, but tried it, and it overexceeded his expectations. To introduce Firmagrin We are enclosing a coupon check good for 50 cents worth of garden seeds with every bottle. You can mail us your order if you want to. It will receive just as careful attention as if you were here in person trading at the store. This is so amazing. It's easy to fill out the order blank. Just put down the kind of garden seeds you want and the number of bottles of Firmagern. Yours very truly, Geo Stuffler Sons Company, blah, blah, blah. And that's just good stuff. This is just amazing. So if you want to find this, right here is Applied Business Correspondence. You can literally Google it. It's in the archives of the Agricultural College Library or something. Whatever college, it's on Google. Okay, one of the information aids. So that's how I found it. It's an Applied Business Correspondence by Herbert Watson, and he just has this whole book is just jam-packed with stuff like this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoy delivering because this is my passion in life. I can talk about this honestly forever. I'm a huge fan of copywriting, sales, marketing, advertising, scientific advertising, direct response, everything direct marketing. My idols are Dan Kennedy, Joseph Sugarman, David Ogilvy, Russell Bronson, Grant Cardone. I actually have a 1K a day library. It's just images of all the books that I'm reading right now. You can go on my Instagram at John Coates 89. That's JONCOATES 89. And what you find when you get there is you'll see a highlight that says 1K a day library, and you literally see I got like dozens of different books that all inspire the creativity and experience that goes into being a successful and expert copywriter, salesperson, marketer, and business person. So be sure to check that out on Instagram right now. You guys take care.